And now, a remarkable story. More than half a century ago, Mary Kelly's mother hand-stitched a dress that would eventually weave together the threads of her family's past and future. The rich tapestry of their history lives on in a proud tradition, worn and passed down through 3 generations of women.
Excited, Rose?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, 7-year-old Rose Kelly can't wait to wear an old hand-me-down dress. The occasion, her first communion this year.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a thrill for her and everyone in her family because this is a dress that's been worn by 7 aunts and 7 cousins at their communions. And now it's Rose's turn.
I'm going to be the 15th person to wear the dress.
14 girls in one family have worn this communion dress so far, a dress that began as a wedding gown in 1948, handmade by Mildred Burns for her daughter, Mary.
It was an imported Islet Batiste cotton fabric from France.
Years later, when Mary needed a first communion dress for her daughters, Mildred recut and refashioned the wedding gown, trimming the long sleeves, adding a Peter Pan collar, a sash, and a bow. And a tradition began, a communion dress for all of Mary's 7 daughters and eventually their 7 daughters, never an alteration.
They have never had to raise up the hem or alter the sleeves or the neckline or anything. Magically, it's just fit every girl that happens to be 7 or 8 years old making her first communion.
After all these years, the dress is spotless. It has never been dry cleaned, only hand washed and ironed, so that it will last for future girls and future generations on their first communions.
Oh, I'd say another 52 years. for good measure.
Well, 3 generations of the family came to our studio and spoke with ABC's Juju Chang about this cherished dress and the memories it holds of their past and the hopes it holds for their future.
The dress has an amazing family history. Now, I know your mother sewed the dress by hand, took her 2 months. What made you decide to turn it into a communion dress?
When it came time for the eldest daughter to make her first Holy Communion, we had 6 children at that time. My mother would kindly ask, did I want her to cut into the original dress and make the first communion dress or leave it intact? And one day in the mail came this beautiful dress, just as it is now, completely finished.
What's it like to watch so many of your granddaughters walking down the aisle with this beautiful dress?
It's an overwhelming experience. I can say that the memories that come back over the years are very beautiful and very special.
Now, Colleen, I know you wore the dress when you were a child. Does it give you a sense of the family history?
Absolutely. I had no idea when I wore it 41 years ago that all of the sisters after me and now the granddaughters would also wear it. And it just has a real true meaning of family and taking care of an heirloom piece that reminds us when a child wears it of our grandmother.
It looks just so fragile. I know it's never been dry cleaned. How have you maintained it so perfectly?
In a cedar chest, beautifully.
That's lovely. Now, Leanne, I know you wore this last year for your communion. Were you telling folks about the dress when you wore it?
Yeah, when I told my friends that my first Holy Communion dress was once worn by my grandma for her wedding dress, they would always say, wow, your grandma must have been a very tiny lady.
Were you nervous about getting stains on it? Because I know it's never been stained either.
Yeah, I was very careful to make sure that I didn't spill anything because it would ruin the dress, and there were still people that had to wear it.
So there are people in line behind you to wear the dress. Mary, usually heirlooms are jewelry or something made of something more durable than lace. This is a beautiful family heirloom.
That's right.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Well, thank you.
it.
Thank you for having us.
A beautiful heirloom indeed. It is now 8:51. Good Morning America continues in a moment.